What's up, y'all? I'm back with another one, with another deep dive. And Future Saga Chapter 3 is almost on its way. Attention, the truth has been revealed. If y'all been paying attention to the Future Saga plot points, you'll see that both chapters have one thing in common, or actually two things in common, and that is Fu and the gods of destruction. So we already know that we're getting a new god of destruction for Future Saga Chapter 3, because both Future Packs 1 and 2 are heavily involved with the gods of destruction, which has been the major plot point for both of these Future Saga packs when it comes to the plot and the main characters. And Fu's, destiny to rule all of Xenoverse by getting powers from all these different timelines so that he can eventually overthrow the gods of destruction and one day rival with Xeno, who he is rumored to be close to in power at this point on in the story, with all the energy he's been collecting over all this time since he's been in Xenoverse 2, which is kind of alarming. Which is why the gods of destructions have been very heavily involved, because Fu has taken it to another level. So we see in Future Saga Chapter 1, the god of destruction was Lord Beerus. I almost called him King. But yeah, Future Saga Chapter 1 was Lord Beerus, and Future Saga Chapter 2 was Lord Beerus, his brother Champa, and it was Belmod. You see, Fu has taken it into another level now, with him controlling the Pride Troopers, where they rage rampage in hell in all the universes combined, including Universe 6, which is why Beerus and Champa teamed up and are actually pissed off at Belmont because he cannot control his guy. So we already see where the story is going with Fu. And at the end of Future Saga Chapter 2, he explains that something big is coming. We have no idea that, we're going to be in so much trouble and all of this stuff. But we can take that with a little grain of salt. But we can see the pattern here. There's going to be another god of destruction. Like I put that on everything, that there's going to be another god of destruction, and we're going to go to a different universe, or have the fighters and the god of destruction come to our universe. Without a doubt, I believe that, just based on the pattern of both Future Saga packs and the main plot points and its characters. Yeah, and it's finally coming to Future Pack 3. So, but the question is, who could that be? Which god of destruction could they possibly bring in this game? Realistically, I think the realest thing to do first was to be to check the roster to see if there were any characters on the roster that were from a different universe but didn't have a gods of destruction in the game. And looking up and down on this roster, I think you all know who that is, and that's Ribrianne. Now, hear me out. I know a lot of people don't like Ribrianne, but she is from a different universe, and she's on the roster in this game. And her god of destruction is Hela, or Hellas. Hellas, the queen god of destruction, the power of love. I really honestly hope it's not her that's the one to be the god of destruction in this game. I think there are better, cooler looking, and more deserving god of destructions that belong in this game. I mean, yeah, she's, peaceful and kind and everything like that, and she probably would work well with Beerus and the other god of destructions. But personally, I would want to see King Quilla, the little rat looking one, the one that's supposed to be the strongest god of destruction and then rivals with Beerus. I think that makes a lot more sense than Hellas. And also, I would want to go with the other guy. His name is Liquor, and he is like the fox looking one. I love his design, yo. His design is just fire as hell. And just looking at him, like, I automatically came up with so many different movesets in my head that he could possibly do. Because playing with Belmont is my favorite God of Destruction to play with. Like, his skill set is just so fun, and his key moves were just completely made up. I honestly think they actually got them from Dragon Ball Legends. You know, like, Dimps is real creative when it comes to the key moves for these new characters when they don't have moves. They just need to kind of work on the physical attacks, basic attacks, but other than that, the key moves are straight on point. And the other guy, Arkward, he was the one that had the quarrel with Beerus. I believe it was before the Tournament of Power. It was him, I believe Liquor, and was also involved, and Quintilla. But I think it was two different storylines though. One was different from the anime and the manga. So, but they had like a little crawl in between that before the Tournament of Power. But yeah, I would like him as well. But if I had to pick with those three, probably Liquor, because I like his backstory. That, you know, he doesn't want any weaklings in his universe. Anyone that's gonna lower the power ranking of the universe, he wants to get rid of them. And then Aquar, he's like less of that. He's less of a destroyer. He doesn't really destroy things like that. You know, he kind of preserves a lot more things than that. So, you know, both of those guys are interesting to think about. You know, backstories, and they both have useful characters in their both respective universes. I can't say the same thing for, you know, Rivian. You know, both her characters would be Kunkunsa and Rosie, because, you know, the other ones don't really matter. They're not going to be in this game for sure. So if they were to bring her God of Destruction in the game, they would most likely, without 100% doubt, bring in Rosie and Kunkunsa, and both their outfits are in the game, so they would be easier to make, and most likely they're already been made already. They're already made because a lot of these characters they haven't been put out, are already in files. They already been made already, design wise. They're just not 100% completed. And knowing Dimps, they would most likely want to go the easy route. And I could see them, if it was a God of Destruction that was easier to make based on the characters on the roster, they probably would go with Hellas, the God of Destruction, and make Kunkunsa and Rose. But I honestly don't want to see that. But honestly, I would love, not Quintilla. He'd be my third option. It would be Arbok, and then Quintilla, actually, because I think both of them would bring like more excitement to the game, just, you know, based on the backstories. And Arbok, for some reason, like, he just looks like someone that takes his training seriously, like PvP wise. Like, I'm going with Arbok, you know what I'm saying? I'm going with that man because he looked like in PPV he's going to be a problem. Like, he looked like he has some moves and he has some stuff that no one's ever seen before. Now, when it comes to Liquor, it looked like he would be like more physical than anything. He seems like a real strict guy, and he doesn't take no mess. And, you know, that's something that we need a little bit more personality in this game. I think every character is kind of, you know, we have Jiren stand out, but we need more personality in this game like that. So I would welcome him as well. Quintilla also. Hellas, I don't know. I think she'd probably be annoying playing with her. I think they probably would make her strong like they did Rivian, because, you know, the power of love conquers all. So I think she probably would be a beast, you know. Maybe for comedy purposes, I guess you could throw her in there, you know, to maybe, you know, make fun of in a storyline a little bit. I would be funny just hearing just Beerus and everyone just looking at her like, are you serious? But yeah, I would prefer the other two because they have better supporting characters. And yeah, Kakunta, like I said before, her and Rose, their already costumes are in the game, and a lot of people need to know that just because their characters are in the game doesn't mean that they will not be made, because we already seen that with Deborah and his costume. and his costume been in the game since Xenoverse 1, and they finally brought him to this game, so Xenoverse 2. So don't count out any characters just because their clothes are already made that they won't be in this game, because that's not true. Okay, so when it comes to the plot points for Future Saga 3, out of those 3, I don't think you would want Quintella though, because I don't think him and Quintella would work well together. Maybe they could come up with something where they do trust each other. You know, I think because he always has something going on behind the scenes, like you never know what he's going to do. So I think Hellas makes the most sense when you think of story wise and personality wise. She would fit more with everyone there compared to Quintella, because you know you have to watch him and everything like that. But at this point right now, the game does need more Gods of Destruction. Like, I think that would like bring a lot more hype to the game, like make them more active, I guess, with the hub world as well. I think that's one thing that's missing. I think we just need more God of Destructions. Like let us be able to get them as like mentors or something like that, so we could unlock their moves, because you know our CAC is supposed to be booked as, you know, the best CAC time patroller such and such in the game. So they need to literally book us like that and start giving us some goddamn moves to make us really seem like that. You know, they need to, you know, go more into, make it more believable that, you know, we could even do the things that we're doing. So yeah, I think that those 3 would suffice as good choices. But what do you guys think? Like, what options or what Gods of Destructions would you want? You know, are those 3 good? Do you like Arkwak? You know, do you like him? Quintella, is Quintella good? You know, which ones would you guys want? Again, story wise, Hella, because I think she can work with all the other Gods of Destruction, Champa, Beerus, and Belmont, and she's not vindictive. She can be trusted compared to Quintella. But Liquor is also, I think he's trustworthy. I believe you can work with him and the other ones. From I know, all the other guys, all the other Gods of Destruction are pretty, you know, reliable. So, you know, it's about time they teamed up to, you know, get rid of my man Fu, and you know, maybe that can help this game go to the next game. You know, maybe something that's called Xenoverse 3. You know, I think that game's been somewhere and we're still waiting for it. I would like to believe that chapter 4, it would be the last DLC. And if it's not, I'm telling you, I'm gonna be kind of disappointed. I'm like in shock, because it's like they're gonna actually go beyond Future Saga chapter 4. Oh, are you serious? This game is graphics, I feel, is very outdated. They're literally grinding on PS3 graphics, and you notice how different the graphics are in the new DLC cutscenes. Like, those cutscenes look real crisp compared to the actual cutscenes when this game first came out. So you know this game is so outdated graphically. Xenoverse 2 revamped is pretty much an updated version of this. That's the kind of graphics they need to be running for Xenoverse 3 on the PS5. And I think it's about time. So yeah, I'm excited about having a God of Destruction, you know, things like that for like another year, you know. But I think it's about time we move on. I mean, you know, if y'all agree with me, let me know about that, because I think it's about time that we kind of moved on to the next game. But bring on the God of Destructions. You know, which God of Destructions again do you want? Do you think those 3 will suffice? Because we're getting one without a question. And if we actually don't get one, that will change up my whole thought process on what I think Dimps and them guys are doing, because usually, most of the time, 90% of the time, I've been right, or everything that they've been saying. So do you guys like Kunkunsa? Do you like Rose? Do you like Lyrian? Would you want both those characters in this game? Or who are the other characters from the other Gods of Destruction would you want to see? But if you think about this, if we also did get Kakunsa and Rose, that could be a potential that we could get more than 4 characters. This could be the first time that they actually dropped 6 characters. Yeah, it's never been done before, but just because it's never been done doesn't mean that they won't do it, you know, because when you think about it, a lot of these DLCs take so long to make and come out that it would make sense for them to give 6 characters to the DLC. Yeah, it might be pricey and whatsoever, but with 6 characters, there would be a lot of content in this game, and it would last for about a half of a year at most. You know, so that's a good amount of time for them to drop another DLC, because we would have Broly, then we would have Chilai. Well, Chilai isn't confirmed as a fighter in the game. I mean, she's only confirmed for the simulation game that I don't know who asked for this. I don't know why this is in the game. This is something like for like teenage girls, like, oh my god, he loves this and she loves that. Like, that's not what Xenoverse is about, so I don't know why that's doesn't even in this game even talk about. And then we have who else we have? Oh, Frieza. Supposedly Frieza is supposed to be the supervillain. It's not 100% confirmed yet because they didn't show him. I don't know why they just had him laughing in the background. So that kind of up to something. That's kind of a little suspicious that they didn't just show him like right there. And you know, so we could have those 3 plus Rosie plus Kakunta. I guess you could throw in her God of Destruction. You know, they could also do that too, but they could do something where they could just bring in the God of Destruction with Ribrianne, and then they could make up something like the other 2 are not there or something like that, and they could just put in other characters in the game. So hey, we never know, we could get more characters than we think. It could be 8 characters for all we know, so we can't just assume that they're gonna just give us 4 and that's it. Like, let's just hold out and hope that it gives actually more than that, so we get more characters and more content, which is cool. It was just fine by me. So think outside of the box and think that they could actually give us 7 characters, because it's never been done, and Xenoverse always likes to surprise us. They've never done anything that we was like, oh yeah, we knew this was coming, so let's keep that in mind as well. So what do y'all think about this? Do you think they're gonna give us a God of Destruction that we want? Also, do you think that we will get another stage? I think that we could possibly get a new stage, y'all. Like, a lot of people has missed that. They didn't think about the possibility of getting a new stage, because we already see that the Conton City is destroyed, and I don't think that's going to be a new stage. I think the new stage is going to revolve around the Gods of Destruction, and I think Beerus's World, I think that's a stage that seriously, like, they gonna get a lot of attention if they was to drop that as a stage in this DLC pack. Beerus's World, you know how much hype that would be? Like, to think about this, like the Gods of Destruction, that they deserve to have a stage where it's, you know, Gods of Destruction. And from the looks of it, what Fu is saying, well, spoiler alert, at the end of final chapter Saga, at the end of the name, the Saga is just crazy, just the name. Yeah, sorry about that. Fire hydrant passed by my house. But yeah, at the end of Future Saga chapter 2, it is explained that Fu has done experiments on his own self. So the things that we see him done to Jiren, Vegeta, and Goku Black with the Ultra Supervillain, he is most likely doing it to himself, and that could mean possibly we could get a Super Fu. I think he has like a transformation that he transforms, and he's like a bigger version, stronger version of himself. We see that in Dragon Ball Heroes, actually. So if they do go that route, probably by Future Saga 4, you probably would get a new stage, and they could do something like Kid Buu, where Kid Buu, you know, destroyed Earth, and they all went to Kai's world and fought him there. I could see that possibly happening, because we already see in the trailer that, you know, they destroyed Conton City. And I don't think it's Frieza. I think it's probably Fu. If the experiments that were revealed at the end of Future Saga 2, that he was an experiment on himself, that he probably ends up going into some ultra form like his artificial parents, well, artificial dad end up doing. So that's also a possibility as well. So yeah, they have a lot of, you know, things that they're gonna reveal in this next DLC with the next God of Destruction, and I think this is probably gonna be the best DLC that they dropped in a long time, because the Future Saga packs 1 and 2 were kind of underwhelming. The first one was underwhelming. The second one was decent. It was short. The only good thing about it was the characters. They probably should have honestly released more, because all they released was 2 characters compared to the first one. You know, they released like 4 characters, you know, so they need to really drop the ball on this one, because 2 characters are not going to be enough. They got to drop at least 4 or 6 characters, and because there's going to be a new God of Destruction that hasn't been revealed yet, I'm telling you guys, it's going to be a God of Destruction, so don't worry. And like I said, if they change up this pattern where it's not a God of Destruction, then they're going to just, my whole thought process will change, and I'm going to do a lot better before I start dropping information, because I like to be right about things that I say. I don't like to just say things that's not true, and I'm going based off of their track record. The track record speaks for itself. So let me know what y'all think about this. What stages do you also want to see? Do you think the stage for a God of Destruction could be a real possibility? Something like Another World, maybe they could use Beerus's planet. You know, I think something like that will probably happen like later on, probably in chapter 4, because there's still another chapter. We gotta remember there's still one chapter that hasn't been released yet, and we're not gonna see that probably till 2027. So we have a lot of time before we can even think about that chapter 4, and that'll most likely be the final chapter if everything goes well. That'll be the end of Xenoverse 2, unless they go to a Future Saga chapter 5 and 6, which I think is insane. Like, that'll be kind of nuts to do that, and it'll just, I don't know how I would feel about that. I don't know if I like that. I think I'm gonna say, like, I think they're overdoing it now. So let me know what y'all guys think about that in the comment sections. I appreciate you guys stayed this long. You know, I'm on a journey to reach a certain amount of subscribers, and I would like for you guys to subscribe, because I really want to drop more news, not just Xenoverse 2 news. I'm going to drop a lot of news on manga, anime, just news in general about a lot of the animes that I like. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, let me know what y'all think about this. What y'all think about this whole thing, God of Destructions. Who do y'all want? Who do you think we're gonna see? What new stages we can get? Do you think we're gonna get to destroy Kansai City as a stage? Let me know how y'all feel about this in the comment section. So until next time, I'll see you all in the next video. Take care, everybody. Peace.
Bye, have a great time.